You're listening to the Conference Board of Canada's Mental Health and COVID-19 series with Dr. Bill Howatt, Chief of Research, Workplace Productivity.
Hi, Bill Howatt, Mental Health, COVID-19, Conference Board of Canada, and we're moving into week 8. Can't believe it. So today, Mental Health Week starts, and one of the things I want to start a conversation with you is about the idea of people are talking about going back to work, and they're calling it return to workplace. I'm going to caution not to be using post-COVID-19, which I've said before, is because COVID-19 is still very much here, and we still need to be paying attention to this and not to get too comfortable. So the conversation today is what I'm going to call is Work 2.0 Reboot. As we start to plan to move back to work, there's 4 areas I'd like you to consider that we may or may not be thinking about with intention and why it's important to move back into our new routine, which is creating yet another norm, is with some calm and some focus and I'm going to say using the word slow, however more intentional. First is motor skill decay. That's the first thing I want to make sure we're aware of. It's interesting when you're sitting back and you've been some of you being out on the road and still been driving actively because you've been, the essential workers, but the non-essential workers like myself who probably get in a car once a week and go maybe a kilometer to a grocery store and go through that process, moving from that transition back onto a highway and busy, it's very common for them to be some motor skilled slippage, if you will. So the next little while when you're starting this routine of going back to work, dust off your basics when you're driving. Slow down, pay attention, get used to it. Because believe it or not, when your reflexes could be a little bit delayed. So pay attention to your motor skills, operating a large motor equipment, whether you're a crane operator, whether you're a backhoe driver that may be just getting back, or a truck driver starting back some roads, runs. Whatever you're doing, just pay attention to giving yourself some time to get those motor skills find shape again. The other one that's important for us to think about is under physical health is deconditioning. Some of us may not have been actively doing our aerobics every day, and some of us might have been a little bit more sedentary. Some of us may have eaten a little bit too much food. Some of us may have not done any exercise. With that, 30, 60 days can create what's called deconditioning. In roles where you do lots of lifting, standing, turning, etc., you may not be in what's called work fitness level, the routine that you need, actually even the amount of walking you do to work and stairs and all that kind of thing. It's important to pay attention to your hydration, pay attention to your stretching, flexibility, and ease your way into this. It's no different than you would as you were going to a gym or starting to run. Going from 0 to 100, assuming what you could do 2 months ago at the exact same uh, intensity, may actually result in some unnecessary strain on your body. Now, for you that are being in good shape and paying attention, still, work condition is different than in a gym. The other one is social. The other area that's going to be interesting is that if you think about human beings like an iceberg, what you're going to see is that people are going to be coming back at different levels. Now, when you see an iceberg, you only see the top of it. You don't see everything that's gone below it. And just because what you're seeing at the top, don't assume there's not all kinds of things going underneath. For example, some people might be private, they might be introverted, they might have going through a loss. Some people might be dealing with relationship issues, financial issues, etc. This doesn't excuse behavior. However, I believe going back right now would be mindful to have conversations around social awareness, empathy, compassion for each other, and be understanding that some people might be a little bit shorter, a little bit more edgy, a little bit more not their normal self, if you will. So that social piece, pay attention to that. Plus, some people may not be used to each other, haven't been around each other for a while. Maybe some people you were glad you weren't around, then you come back and you have time. And so there's all those social dynamics that be thinking about as you're starting to return to work. My thinking is it's important to be mindful about it. And if you're a leader, be talking about it, giving each other a break as we re-acclimate each other, because we're starting to create, once again, a new set of norms, which will be in yet another norm. And then mental health. See, My concern is, now this is Mental Health Week, and why I'm going to say this is that, 3 weeks ago we were talking about isolation and talking about loneliness, all kinds of talk. In the last week, you're going to start hearing more about operation, releasing, moving forward. Well, what I'm going to tell you right now is the impact of people moving through different phases where now some people are going into what we call the euphoric stage, meaning, oh my God, things are going to get back. What they don't realize, and I'm not trying to bring you down, there's going to be a peak where there's fatigue. Eventually, everyone's minds being charged, worrying, fearful, anxiety, and running hard. There can be a kind of a crash coming around fatigue. That's why I've been really promoting mental fitness and getting people to start doing things daily with intention to charge their battery, because I've seen this movie before, and we do know it from looking at other disasters that happen over history, is that there's a natural, we start realchemate, we start to and before we go back to full integration, there's going to be a dip where we go through grief and all those different things. As Mental Health Week, why I'm saying this to you is to be mindful that right now is the time where there's a new energy, there's spring in the air, lots of excitement. Now is the time, if you've not started as an employer, as an employee, to get proactive on your mental health and start doing things you can with intention to promote your mental health in regards to mental fitness, social connections, physical health. Do it with intention, because your battery levels will happen whether you know it or not. They're going to start to feel drained as you start to go through yet another normal. And not 1 month, not 2 months, not in 3 months, not in 4 months, but 5, 6, 7, 8 months. That's where there's going to be a bit of a wear and tear. Especially, we need to be mindful again of the importance to be mindful that October, November, when flu season starts again, if we don't pay attention to all our social distancing and physical distancing and all the different things we're going to need, we could be back to where we are. And that's why we need to, because that anticipatory anxiety is paying attention now what we do and the investments we make today. It's like physical fitness. The investment we make today can get us to training till we can run through a marathon. That's what my coaching is going to be for you to be thinking about as we start to move towards reboot. I'm calling it Work 2.0 reboot, is over the next few weeks, paying attention to 4 elements as you start to come back online. One is your motor skills, giving yourself some time to refine those motor skills, driving vehicles. 2, making sure that you're paying attention, deconditioning your physical health. 3, the idea around social interaction at workplace, giving people a break, ensuring that you know that some people may not be in the same place as you, increasing your frustration tolerance a little bit by kindness, listening, patient, empathy, because not everyone's at the same place. The last one is mental health. We need to keep objective criteria that what we do today will get us through. Think about this as a bit of a training ground so that you can actually pay attention, because my belief system is, after doing this for 30 years, please understand that the more we invest now, the better we'll be down the road, 6 months to a year. That's where the real work's going to be for us. And we need to be honest. We need to be objective about this, because it's important. So with that, I'm going to actually wish you a good week. And we're going to continue to do this process one day at a time. And I'm not thinking that this is going to be a forever process, but I do think we need to be intentional in this process and keep these conversations. And one thing I'd like to do is not forget mental health is a priority. I know operations right now is top of mind for lots of folks. PPEs, personal protective equipment, but I also want you to be thinking about PPP, personal psychological protection. What are you doing for your mental fitness? So let's keep that up. Let's have a good week, one day at a time. Take care. All the best. Bill. Hi, Bill Howatt here. Hopefully you're finding these videos of some value. If you'd like to share these, on the lower right of your video, there's a icon you can click. You can send it through your social media feeds, join the Conference Board of Canada social media feed so we can keep you up to date. And if you have ideas, suggestions, please leave your comments so we can consider them. And if you have things that you'd like us to speak to, I certainly will try to do all I can to help out. With that, have a wonderful day.